Welcome back, guys, to This Is Much More podcast. I'm Evelyn, and my co-host is
Rollie Vogues.
And our special guest today is...
Hi, I'm Kat.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast.
We already had like deep conversations before we even started the podcast, but we're gonna go ahead and start refresh, like from a fresh start. So, what is your name? Really, Kat, or is that a short for something?
Yeah. So my full name is Catherine.
Oh, it's Catherine.
Yeah.
With the K or with the C?
With the K.
With the K?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I asked my mom because, we're Hispanic. And I was like, Mom, how did you name me Catherine? And she's like, there was this movie out like back in the day. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I was so in love with that name. I just had to name you that.
To name. Are you like you're an only child?
We're 4.
It's 4?
Yeah. So my sister and my brothers, they have like normal names. And I'm like Catherine.
I'm gonna just move the lights real fast. Y'all can keep talking. No.
Oh, okay. Are you the oldest or you're like the baby?
I am the middle child. So I have an older brother, and then it's me, my younger sister, and then the youngest little brother.
Oh, so you're the second?
Yes.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm the second.
Yeah.
It's my older sister, me, my little sister, and my little brother.
Yeah.
So the baby
you are 4 too?
It's 4, yeah.
Yeah.
But...
I think I follow your brother on social media.
Yeah, he's into fitness too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, because we were going to ask you about that too, right? Like,
yeah, so I think the first time I ever found out about you and your brother were like the whole Fit Fam kitchen.
Yes.
You were doing that with him?
Yeah, so we were doing it together. We started
Okay.
it together, and then I got pregnant with my son, and oh my God, I couldn't cook. I was like, oh, this stinks. and I was throwing up. I had to go out in the front of the house, and I just couldn't, like, it was the meat. Like, all meats, though. Chicken, like, ground beef, like, anything. Even steakhouses, I could not. So I was like, I'm sorry, brother, but you're gonna have to take over for a little while. Yeah. And then he was doing it on his own. And then after the baby, obviously, like, I had to make sure he was okay and everything. But it was just kind of like we made a compromise. Like, it was more, he was doing better, not without me, but, it was just better that way, that he took over and he was able to get people to help him. Like, he has other ladies that help him and stuff like that. So now that he's been doing it, I don't know, he's been doing it for, I would have to say 5 years now. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So it's still an ongoing thing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what, just meal preps?
Yes, it's meal prep. So he does custom if you need them, like if you're going based off a meal plan. Or he does that way so you don't get like tired. Like every week he switches the menu. So he does it like that. And then he has like month specials where like every week he ships out or whatever he needs to go deliver to the to his clients. That way they have their meal set up and all that. Oh, so wow. It's been really good for him, and I like it, and I'm glad,
Yeah.
And he loves it. Like I don't know, like his chef, like he's a perfectionist. So whenever we would set up I remember, man, we would set up the meals and he's like, no, not that one. That one needs to be fixed this way. And I'm like, really, dude? And he's like, yeah, why does it even look like that? I'm like, they're going to eat it. And he's like, They have to open it and it has to look nice. And I'm like, okay, I got you.
So is he like a cook? Or he gets people to cook for him?
No, he's the cook, yeah.
Oh, he's
yeah. So
cooking.
He does both. So whenever he's not in the kitchen, he's setting up the plates. Like I said, he's a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. If not, he's like putting the labels. He's putting them on the delivery things that have to go. So he's just everywhere. He's doing everything.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Sounds like we need to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, we might have to have him on here.
So we can talk about, he can give Ronnie some like, ideas over there.
Yeah.
So you were always into the fitness, like, or how did that start?
How did you even get started into fitness?
I wasn't. How did it happen? I honestly, this is what I think happened because I don't even remember. Like, I just remember one day I was like looking at some girl that I followed on social media. I can't remember her name now, but she wasn't like a big influencer, you know? And I was like, wow, she has muscles. I was like, I wonder how it would look like that, Yeah. And I was just kind of like, I had no idea. Like, my dad has, so this is really funny, but back in the day, they used to have a Bali Fitness Total
Belly
Fitness.
Total
Yeah,
Fitness,
yeah.
And we would always drop off my dad there. And I was like, what is he doing there? Like, we were not out. And he was like, y'all not allowed to come in here. So I was like, okay, why? You know?
Yeah.
But I would see all these, like, men going in there and women too. So I was like, that's weird, right? So then finally, years later, this whole time he was going to the gym. I was like, why were we not allowed in there, you know?
Yeah.
But, so that's what I did. I didn't even ask my dad. I think Heisel had already got into it for a little while. I didn't
That's your
really
brother?
ask him. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he hadn't gone into it. He had already got into it, but I didn't really want to, like, ask, you know? So I just kind of started doing my own thing. I would watch YouTube and see what they would do, the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Was it random girls or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nobody, like, specific. I'm like, okay, this girl's doing this, and then this one's doing this. And, like, back then, fitness was, like, not the way it is now,
No.
I feel.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like now it's more like a fashion thing.
Yes.
Like it's.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
well,
still,
like back then, I would get on bodybuilding.com, and then there was like testimonials of like different people that were using the programs that they had on there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, there was this one dude that kind of like matched my body type, and I was like, damn, I could look like that, you know. But back then they didn't have like YouTubers, you know, like fitness YouTubers. It was just like fitness will be on YouTube, pero it's not like
Yeah, like
Jimmy
she
Dennis,
said,
like-
it's random. Like
yeah, it was like
clips.
random.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
So I didn't like look up anybody specifically, and I was just kind of like, okay, this girl does it. And I wasn't even going off of like their body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just kind of like going off of the exercise
The
they
exercises
were doing.
they were
Yeah.
So like now you look at a woman or like a girl, you're like, oh, she looks like that. I want to look like that. You know?
Yeah,
So then
that's
you
true.
follow what they're doing, and it's just kind of like, I don't know if they're supposed to be doing that, you know?
No, yeah.
But that's how it is now versus before. You know what I mean? So then I started watching that, and then me and my brother kind of like, well, we've always been like best friends when we were little. I think it's like he was born first and so was I, so we were always together.
Yeah.
And then we started like working out together, and he was like teaching me like, okay, you can go heavier than that. And I'm like, I can? And he's like, yeah, like, why do you even grab those? And I'm like, because I don't know, I come here by myself.
yeah.
You know?
I don't have nobody to spot me.
Yeah. And then he started correcting my form and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay. So then later on, he had this dream of competing for a very long time. And he would see that. And I wouldn't really like look into that. Like, really, I was just kind of like, okay, that's random, but it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, if you like it, you like it. And he's like, yeah, you know, that would be so cool. And I just saw like how happy it made him. So I told him, I was like, okay, if you compete, I'll compete with you. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, all right. So we ended up setting like, we started prepping for a competition, like both of us together. And that was like, wow. Yeah, it was.
Y'all had a trainer and everything?
No.
A coach? No?
No, we actually
Trained
each other. Yeah. And that's what we did. So we didn't really know what to expect whenever we went into a competition. So it was just kind of like we did get a dieting coach only because you had to be like at a certain % whenever you step on stage.
Okay.
And then obviously whenever they tan you, like what they look for and all that stuff. So we ended up doing that. And whenever we were on stage, I didn't even remember my number. So I'm on stage and they're like calling my number and they can't see it. And then they're like, turn around. My brother's like, turn around. And I'm like, okay. So I turn around and they see my number, you know? And honestly, I think he was just so excited for me. I was like, it's so cute, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like happy for him because he was able to do it, you
Yeah.
know? But I think that sometimes he's a little shy. And like,
So you gave him that push.
yeah, I was like, you want to do it? Let's do it. You know, and I guess because he was used to like us being together all the time,
Yeah.
that kind of brought him confidence. Like, okay, let's do it, you know? And then after that, after he had his show, he was just kind of like, oh, that was cool. Let's do it again. I was like, heck no. I was like, I am not putting my body through that.
Do you feel like it affects your body?
So, I don't know if I could say this, like, I don't know if you're gonna cut it off or not, but you kind of like lose your like menstrual period.
Oh,
okay. So because it is a thing, right?
That's why I was asking, because we've heard it, right, like from other people too, like from like one girl that she did a competition and then she just had a lot of trouble getting pregnant.
Oh wow!
After that, after the competition, because her body like took a big toll, like on like,
because you go down to like I don't know, your body percent is at, I would say 8. I don't know. I forgot what it was. I think mine was at 6 or 8 body fat percent. So it was just kind of like, it's low. So then you don't, and I was like, what the heck is going on? You know, because nobody told me that. Yeah. And I didn't ask any, like, I honestly didn't even know who was competing. Yeah. Like other people that were competing. So I didn't like reach out and tell them like, hey, does this happen to you? Because I'm freaking out here, you know? So the only, at the time, like my husband was my boyfriend, and I would tell him and he's like, that's weird. You know? And I was like, yeah, it's weird. But like we were not like intentionally trying to get pregnant or anything like that. Yeah. So I was like, I wonder when it's going to come back, you know?
How long did it go away for?
I would have to say maybe like 5 months.
Oh dang! And you were like a regular?
Yeah, I was regular. Like I knew by that day if something was going on. If it wasn't like, you know. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm not getting it. Like, what's going on? And obviously, I couldn't really tell my brother that because he was like, "What? Don't tell me that." I want to know, you know. So like, whenever I finally like got it back, I was like, okay, I think I'm back to normal. But then you also get like, I guess you're so used to seeing yourself lean. Ooh, girl, whenever you started gaining weight, it was like, whew, you were like, what is going on here? Like, you felt fat. And I'm like, but you're not. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah, I bet I'm assuming it's one of those things that you see yourself at, like, it's like at your leanness. So when you start like gaining weight where it's like a normal body type, right? Because when you're doing a competition, it's very like lean, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming when you're like in the regular body type, then you probably think to yourself like,
yeah. So you see all the shreds, you see the abs, you see, you know, like I've never thought I would have abs. So I was like, when I had abs, I was like, damn, that's freaking awesome, you know? So then whenever I started gaining weight, it was like mentally, like I was like mentally not okay. You know, I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then my brother too, he was like, oh my God, like I'm getting fat. I'm like, dude, don't even start. Like, you're like way leaner than I am. And you have like your abs are still there and everything. And it was just both of us. Like, we were just not okay.
So how do you feel now? Because how long ago was this?
This was before my son. This was 2016, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's when we competed. So like now that's a mom. I enjoy my mom bod. Like I'm glad to be still sort of lean, you know, because it took me a long time to be okay with gaining weight. Like it took me a long time. So even after my son was born, like I leaned back down and I was like regular, like me. And then I was like, I need to gain weight because I'm so skinny.
Yeah. And
I was like, and I don't like it. Like I feel like I could be fuller, but like not fatty. Like, I don't know, whatever. I would tell my husband, I was like, I feel like I can be more fuller. And he was like, he's like, you all you gotta do is eat. And I was like, I know, but he's like, but you don't. Like, you start eating your little salads, you start eating your little preps, and it's like, why don't you just enjoy it? And I'm like, but I do enjoy it, but I don't know, I don't get hungry like that, you know?
Or like to eat like your protein intake, or
like I would just not get hungry. Like I would eat to kind of like fuel my body and repair it from the gym, but not enough to keep on like building what I had to build, you know? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and after I got pregnant with my daughter, I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy like trying to eat this time and see if I can gain some weight. And my daughter did put like a little more weight into me because I don't know, I feel like when I was pregnant with her, I wanted to eat everything.
Oh, you weren't having like wanting to throw up?
I wasn't like with my son. So with her, I don't know, for 2 years before I got pregnant with her, I stopped eating red meat. Like, I just heard, like, of benefits of that, and I stopped. But I don't know, one day I woke up and I was like, man, I need a burger. Like, I need it right now. He's like, are you sure? I was like, I need to eat a burger. And he's like, okay, let's go get one. So I ended up I was like, after I ate it, I was like, man. He's like, what? I let go of red meat. And he was like, dude, really? I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, I didn't even notice. I'm like, of course you.
And wait, so how long? You said you didn't eat red meat for like 2 years?
For like 2 years.
Was that hard?
No.
What are the benefits of that though?
I know that like red meat has like a lot of bacteria. So regularly, I don't know, they said something about it reduces cancer and just things like that. I was just reading a bunch of stuff on it and like vegans, like their diet and everything. I was like, I don't think I can go be a vegan. Yeah. You know, I was raised with chicken and fajitas and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Because you know Joe Rogan? Mm-hmm. Or like, he's like a meat eater. Like, he's just meat eater. Like, come elk and all these like animals, hunting animals or whatever. But that he's always, I feel like he does it to piss off like vegans, you know? And he'll post like a cutting board. You can see the wood with all like the meat on there, and that's like what he'll eat. Like, he's like an avid this meat eater. Yeah.
I mean, I like meat, but I don't think I could do meats like that either.
I like meat, so.
Like, I stick to the basics.
No, me too.
I like chicken, fish, salmon, like, you know. But, like, my husband's like, hey, let's go, like, hunting. And I'm like, no, poor deer. And he's like, really? And then he'll, like, his friends will go hunting and they'll bring deer meat. And I'm like, ew, no, thank you.
My brother and my dad do that. They'll go hunting, and David will send, my little brother will send, like, a picture of him and the deer. And I'm like, well, I'm happy for you caught something, but I'm like, but I don't like the picture, like, you know. It's just like, I mean I don't have nothing against hunting, but it's just neither. Like,
pero te da cosa because it's a bigger animal. Because if they did that with a fish, it's like, it's fish. Pero a deer,
you know, I feel bad for the fish too. But I still eat it.
But she said, but I still eat it.
Now, you know what was crazy as a kid? My tia Tencha, do you know about it?
No, what?
Over there in Mexico, like,
about the chicken.
About the chicken. Man, I saw her kill a chicken.
Oh my god!
And she killed a chicken in front of us. She showed us, like, she grabbed the chicken from the neck, le hizo así, and she put it on a rock, and then she like just cut its head off. It was fucking crazy, and we were just like watching the whole time, and I was like, and she's like, "Ustedes van a comer esto al rato?" And she started taking off all the feathers, and we were just there, and then she lo puso a cocinar, and then she served us, and I did not want to eat that chicken. Just because I saw it alive like a few like hours ago, you know.
It's the same thing like borrego. You know how, we were in Mexico, and his dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna make this or guisado." I don't know what the hell. Yeah. And then his dad purposely sent me a picture of the damn borrego where like they had it hanging, and then it was like no skin, and it was just I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
And then they've made different types of carnes. Your tío Nico like made red guisado, I don't know, and then they're like, no vas a comer, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna eat. So I ended up eating like a quesadilla or something. Nothing with the meat.
I've done the same. So years back, my uncle made like a chivo, right? And I didn't see them kill it, but just like saw it hanging. And then whenever they started cooking, the smell of it, I was like, oh my god, no. So then my mom's like, you're not gonna eat barbacoa? She's like, I don't think I even eat barbacoa.
I love barbacoa.
I ain't gonna lie. Like,
actually, barbacoa is good, but it's not. It's different, right? Lengua, or is it the same thing?
Lengua, it's because it's either lengua or cheek, I think.
I don't know, but
like the cheek, I think is like the fattier one, and the lengua is the one that I like that my mom makes.
Yeah, because his mom will go to Sam's and buy like.
It'll straight up be a big ass lengua, and she just like.
And it's a cow one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then she starts like partiéndolo and all that shit, and man, this is fucking good.
Yeah, because when we go to Sam's to go buy it, I'm just like, I don't even want to look at it. Just put it in the cart, like, you know. And it's nasty. It's a freaking tongue.
I have a whole cow head on my house right now. So. And well, so my husband discovered this thing where, I mean, it sounds bad, but you like go to the farmer and you buy your cow, and then when it's time for it to be slaughtered, they go and they slaughter it,
and you get all these meats
and you
from
get
it.
the whole parts of the cow, whatever you want. and he asked for the cow head. So he's gonna smoke it or
head?
Yes. I'm like, I'm not eating that. He's like, it's barbacoa. And I'm like, I'm not eating that. I even felt bad for the cow.
Dang, I seen that like on I saw it on TikTok. Somebody had like a cow or like I don't know, an animal, and then they're like, yeah, if you buy this, and then she started like, she showed the whatever animal it was, and then she's like, you can get this type of meat, this type of meat, this type of meat, this type of meat, like, and she added all the meats. And she's like, it's like a lot more money, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, I could never have an animal like. I mean, we barely have our dog, you know, so it's just...
Well, I didn't go pick it. I was like, if you're going to get that, you're picking it. I don't want to see it. Like, he's like, what's the difference, babe? You pick it up from the supermarket. It's already there. And I'm like, but I don't know the cow. He's like, oh, my God. So he picked it. He did all that. And then they gave us ground beef. They gave us sirloins. They gave us brisket. Everything that you can get, whatever you ask for.
Do you feel like it was worth it?
I mean, it's in the deep freezer still. We haven't bought no steaks or anything like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, we should tell your dad.
Yeah, he'll probably just buy a cow and leave it at the ranch.
Yeah.
Like, lo va a dejar and shit.
He's like, no, my daddy will do himself. I'm like, I don't know. So they take it to the processor, and then they put everything like how you want it. Kind of like if you were going to like the supermarket, but they have it like, okay, your pounds of ground beef, your pounds of steaks, you know, all that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Damn, that's badass.
Yeah, because when I saw
I'm pretty sure it's kind of pricey though, no?
No. Say, the thing is, like when I saw it on TikTok, they said the girl said that it's more it's fresh. It's more fresh, one, right? And then two, it may seem like it's more, but when you get all the meats, it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Opposed to buying at HEB, like.
So you do pay it like up front, but you get your money's worth. Yeah. And then depending on how they raise the cow. So whenever I first ate the ground beef, I'm not gonna lie, it made my stomach hurt. But it was because it was just like so pure, like the meat. You know what I mean? It wasn't like with
your body wasn't used to it.
And I was like, oh, is your stomach supposed to hurt? And he's like, well, yeah, it is, because we're eating all this junk. And this is like the way the farmer took care of his cows, where they was feeding the cow. Like everything was like really good.
Yeah, it's not like whenever the HEB cows, they'll just feed it.
Well, it's like when people drink like milk out of the cow, like straight, right? It's not ran through anything to like
clean it out.
It's just like.
Yeah,
so
I couldn't do that either. The cheese.
Huh?
The cheese.
Cheese.
They do cheese, you know.
Queso fresco?
Yeah.
You like queso fresco?
No, like I do not.
Your eyes are watery, like.
Que es medio asco. Yeah.
So no, I've never had it made or anything, but the only one I think I eat is like the vaquita one, and I know that's pasteurized.
That's my brother's favorite one.
I like that one. Yeah. Like I could do that one if anything, but I do not like cheese. But you know, because when I was younger, we went to Costa Rica with my grandparents, and we were at this like ranch, and they showed us how they did everything. And I just remember like being in the little barn, and there was like a shitload of cheese, like, but it's the milk que se hace como queso, you know, like como está echada a perder, but they do like this process thing. And I remember just walking in there and seeing flies everywhere, and I'm like, I ain't drinking shit from here. Like,
oh, these flies landed in here.
But I'm sure they do like the cleaning, or I don't know. It's just like,
man, I can't even see milk whenever you get it out of the fridge and it's not good anymore.
Right?
So I could just imagine cheese.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, that's gross.
Yeah.
That shit is so nasty, right? Like.
So we're gonna ask about. So right now you're not doing any coaching, or you are?
Yeah. So right now I'm only doing online because I am currently in California. So right now I'm here for a week, and I'm trying to get everything done, because whenever you're like in a little time span, I feel like I gotta go fix my house, like arrange it and stuff like that. So whenever we're finally back, hoping maybe in January, then I'll be doing one-on-one coaching again.
Oh, okay. So that's all you've done, one-on-ones?
Yeah, I usually just do one-on-one because I feel like you pay attention more to your client whenever you do that versus doing group classes. Like I perfect their form. I make sure their strength is going up. You know, we do their calories, their whole meal plan, everything to make sure that they're getting reached down to the goal that they want, you know?
Well, with that being said, let's go on a quick break and then we'll go back on the coaching.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 4.
Oh, okay.
And he was going like this, and I'm like, let's go pee. And he's like, he didn't have to pee. And I'm like, let's go pee. And then he's just like, I don't have to. So he was crying the whole time. And as soon as he sat down, he peed. And I'm just like,
where? Over there?
Here.
Oh, here?
Yeah. I was just like, just go. Like, you know.
Damn, man. His pride.
I know.
I was like, you want to hold your pee?
I know.
No, my daughter's like that right now. So I have to be asking her. She got potty trained a little bit after she turned 3, right? And like I have to keep asking her because she gets so caught up doing things. She's like, she forgets, you know. And I'm like, baby, you don't gotta go potty. And she's like, no. And then finally I take her just to go, and she uses the restroom. I'm like, girl, don't be holding your pee. What's wrong with you, you know? And my son's like, oh my God, we have this thing with him every time we have to go somewhere. He's like, Mom, I gotta use the restroom. I'm like, you just went in the other place. He's like, I gotta go again. I'm like, are you nervous or something? He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
But he uses the restroom a lot.
Yeah.
Then. But I mean, it would be good, no? Like, cause their bladder, or is that like?
I think I heard like if you hold your pee in too long, like it
oh, that's really bad. Yeah.
Bad,
that's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more they go, I feel like the better. I mean.
But do you want me to clap it? Or
nah, we're already going. Yeah,
okay.
It's already going. So.
So with the coaching, since you do one-on-ones, how many clients do you take at a time?
So usually I'll do about 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, depending on the time.
4 in the morning?
Yes.
So they have to get
not at 4 in the morning.
Oh,
like no, girl, I can't even wake up.
I was like, damn.
No. So in the morning time, I'll start like around 8 or 7, depending on like their work schedule, because I know some moms have to be on a certain work schedule. So I'll do like from 7 to 8, then 8 to 9, then 9 to 10, and then 10, 11, I'll take a break, and then I'll do the afternoon time. So like 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, and sometimes I'll do late, like 8, 9. But that's if somebody's getting off at 7:30. Like, kind of go by their schedule, you know?
I see.
And then, like, before I did have help or whatever, but whenever I don't have any help, then I just kind of cut down on clients. So whenever I post that I'm available, I'm like, I have to be really careful with that. Because if people are like, oh, I'll take that spot. And I'm like, do I want to overwhelm myself? You know?
Yeah.
Because running, like, mom life, fit life, like, my own life, and then wife life is like, you have to make sure everything's balanced, because if not, you're lacking on one, and it's like, then you don't feel accomplished. I feel.
No,
you know?
yeah. I agree 100%.
All the time.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, you know, because I've always wanted to be like super fit, but I just don't feel like, either I start with, oh yeah, I'm motivated, and then I just lose motivation, right? Like,
and then it's crazy because it's always like zigzag with us. So it's like when she's going to the gym and she's like eating good and everything, I'm like being the one that's like, I don't have time for the gym, I don't want to go, you know. And right now,
wings.
Yeah, and then
I'm
right
like,
now,
you know, counting macros, he'll ask me if I want wings. Isn't that messed up?
And then right now, I'm the one going to the gym and eating good, and then she's the one that's just like, I don't feel like going, because she has to go like at like 5 a.m.
I have to wake up like at 4:30, 4:45 to get there at 5.
Yeah,
because that's literally my only window of being able to go.
But not really though, because you can go while Milo's at school, but I don't know.
But
why
I've been working at school.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Do you want to have this argument now?
I'm like, whoa, I'll be the referee.
No, and that's the thing, you know how I told you that I didn't like leaving him like with people. If I do, it's like literally like it's like 5 people out of like our family that would watch Milo, right?
Yeah.
And when we ask them, it's like for the podcast.
Yes.
You know, like today his padrino has him, you know, and he's over there, and they're gonna put
which is like rare. It's like we don't ask them too much.
Yeah, we when I had talked to them, it was like, oh, once a month, if anything, you know, for one episode. But then we hadn't asked them for a while, like, you know. So then I'm like, oh, can y'all like watch him? And then he's like, yeah, which I know they never mind, you know, because it's just, he's not like a bad kid either. So he's super chill. But I don't want to ask somebody to watch him so I can go to the gym, because it's just then my thing is like, well, why didn't I wake up? I should have woken up when he was asleep.
Well, they have daycares. I mean, I take my kids to the daycare.
To the gym?
I have to. Yeah. So with the baby, she's with me 24/7 now. Now that my son's in school. So she's like my little buddy.
She's so you leave her there?
At the daycare, yeah.
What gym do you go to? Oh, well, you rotate, right? Because you're in California
so right now I'm going to, I guess, LA Fitness. It would be over there, but it's like City Sports over there. So I got to meet the ladies, kind of to see how she was, how she would act with them, because it was her first time kind of like in daycare. So she was like, okay, cool. Like, this place got toys. And she was like, got slides. So she was like pretty cool. And then there's like, sometimes they have a rotation. So like whenever like the guys are there, I kind of just don't take her because I don't know, I feel weird.
No,
because I don't really know them, you know? Like my brothers will watch them, but like I just don't. Like,
it's a guy, it's
different. No, it's my brothers. I trust them, so they'll go with them. But if it's another guy that I don't know,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then
I just feel like we don't. I don't know. Like, I've always felt weird about daycare, and then you see all these things or whatever. So we've never like even considered daycare for anything.
Because we know that if we were gonna leave him in daycare, why not ask our family when we know that they don't mind?
Yeah.
But it's just my pride of like, no, if I want to go, I'm gonna wake my ass up and go at 5. You know. So, because he's asleep and he's asleep. So, why the hell do I not take advantage of that time? But, man, getting up at 5, it's exhausting.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So, it's just like, if I did do, like, training, I would want it to be at that time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, well, I'm paying somebody, so I have to fucking wake up. Like, I have no choice.
That's another thing my clients do tell me. They're like, I pay somebody because, like, I have to be here. And it's like, it's making me, like, consistent. And I'm like, that's a good way to look at it.
Because imagine like paying somebody. I would probably, if I did, like, I've never done like person training, right? But if I did, I'd probably be driving to that person's like gym or house or whatever, and hating my life for even like paying for it in the beginning.
And then if you don't show up, then
it's like you lose that session. Like you just, you know, it's
and then you waste your coach's time or something.
And it's just like, now that we have like the podcast, I mean, even before that, like we've had different businesses, right? And it's just like, I know not to take what is it, like how not to waste somebody's time, you know, and that is just like,
it's like whenever you start running a business, like you start noticing little things that people do. So it's kind of like, oh, I shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? So
what's your prices like? Do they vary from your coaching?
Well, I guess it depends on the slots that they decide to do. So if they want to do from Monday through Friday, or like just, there's people that can only go like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or like they have different schedules. So depending on what days they can make it, then I charge them for that, because it's kind of pointless for me to charge them for the whole thing whenever they can't make it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I go by.
So you do like their own like, you know, gym plan, and then do you help with their macros or just?
Yes. So they get a meal plan like based off their macros and their goals, and then they get on the days that they decide to pick. So it's like a whole program. So if they say like, hey, I can only make it Mondays and Fridays because I got sports with the kids, I got this with the, you know, like their life, because I have to understand I'm a mom too. You know? So whenever my son was in T-ball, you know what I mean? I had to cut down on certain things because it's just life. You know what I mean? So I just go based off what they can do.
I'm not gonna. If it was like a client that said, "Oh, I can go Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. and I want a meal plan," what would be like roughly
the rate? I think it's like $425 for the month, and then I think I would just throw the meal plan in free, because they were already pretty consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I already know what they're doing. They're training with me all week, and we got it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it is different if it's like somebody that's brand new and.
Yeah, because I see the girls, but I think it's different because it's a one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
Because I see the girls that do like
the classes?
The classes, I see that they do charge like around $200. One of them charges $200. I think Stephanie charges like around, I think it's like $200 too, or like between $150 to $200. But I know both of the trainers that I see on social media, both do group sessions, and it's Monday to Thursday only, and it's like a 1 hour, but it's a group environment. You know.
And I would understand, like, whenever they do one Monday to Thursday, too, because of, you know, Friday for family, Saturday, and stuff like that. So there was a time where I was just training from Monday to Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like, it was just for the family. And then then I had the baby only. So I was like, okay, you know, we could do a little bit more. But it was whenever I had, like, all three of the kids, it was a little bit more. Yeah. Like, let me, you know, give them their time, too. They need it. All that, because it's, when you're away from your kids too long, it's like they start doing their own thing, and it's just like, hey, where are you learning that? You know, like YouTube. You know, and I'm like, boy, dude, that is not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
your son watches YouTube?
Oh my God, he watches it. So it got to this point right now, where he's like, Mom, we don't have Wi-Fi. I'm like, you're 5 years old. What do you know about Wi-Fi? It's like, I can't watch this. I'm like, Logan, you are not going to die if we do not have Wi-Fi. And he's like, but I can't watch my show. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what have I done to you? You know? No, so he's like addicted to that. And then
to like the YouTube,
you have to watch.
Thing.
Yeah, no, you have to watch what they're watching, because sometimes he's watching something and I'm like, I don't want you watching that.
I know. Roland deleted the YouTube app from Milo's phone.
Yeah.
From Milo's iPad. Because he has his iPad. So I downloaded Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Disney Plus, right? So you can watch whatever. And when we don't have Wi-Fi, now they have the thing where you download an episode. And then it's just like he can watch it anywhere and everywhere without Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So Logan, man, my Logan is so bright. Like, he's not like an average 5-year-old, honestly. Like, he's always been really like bright. So he's like more into hanging out with bigger kids, you know? So it's like really hard, because if I put something that's like for like younger kids, he's like, that's for babies. And I'm like, but you know, they're teaching you something. He's like, but I already know that. So when he was 2 years old, he already knew how to count like to 20 in English and in Spanish. He knew his shapes. He knew the vowels. Like, he knew the planets in order. I was like, hold on, let me go check this real quick. You know, like, he would tell me that there was 2 planets after Pluto. Like,
and where would he see this?
On YouTube.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like, he knew everything, you know. And I'm like, so I guess to him that's like he already learned that, so he doesn't need to
watch like the Spidey, the little Spider-Man.
Yeah, or like Coco Melon or something like that. He's like, he's like, that's for the baby, not for me. You know. So I'm like, okay. So I let him watch it, but I'm watching what he's watching. Yeah. And I'm just like,
yeah, because they just go through that little rabbit hole where they're just like, from one video they go to another one, and then it's just like another one.
Suddenly it's like in Japanese, or doing some toy openings and those videos, you know.
Yeah, Roland hates those.
So he's been it's so funny, because his sister like follows along with him, like a lot of the things he watches I don't know if you heard of the Langy Box. No. So it's these 2 guys, and they do commentary like on games, on like just random stuff, right? So my daughter watches her iPad, because she has like kids YouTube, like baby YouTube, because you can restrict it, like
the kids. Yeah.
And she's like, whoa, that's pink, and she's doing commentary. I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys crack me up. And my husband's like, you should start recording her. And it's funny, because I don't know, she's like the whole day she's doing commentary.
Because she's 2, right?
She just turned 3.
Oh, she's 3.
Yeah. So she's like, the princess. Oh, it's the princess. She's wearing the crown. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, she's just, it's hilarious.
And is your son going to school now in California?
Yeah, he is. I enrolled him. So I didn't want him to lose like any time from school. So I went and Googled like around the area we were going to be at, what schools he was going to like be around. And it's weird, because they only have, so here, if you press elementary schools, you get like 5 or 6, right? Over there where we're at, there was only 1. And I was like, so this is the one he's going to go to? And it's like I don't know if all schools are like that, but when you walk in, it's just gates and anybody can come in and out. And I was like, this has my anxiety. Like,
How I was gonna ask, how was that for? Is this his first year in school, or was he here last year?
So he was in
Pre-K.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about pre-K. So he went to pre-K, and he was the youngest one in the class, and he was just not doing good.
No.
So I took him out. Like he was, oh my God. So I'm gonna tell you this story because it's funny, but like it's not like good. But my husband went to the school, and he's like, he's acting out. Like there's no way my kid's doing that. So he goes and sees him through the little window. In 5 minutes, he's like, take him out or I'm gonna pull him out, So he's like, why doesn't he have no shoes? And he's like, sir, because when your son gets in here, the first thing he does is he takes off his shoe and he throws it at somebody. And I'm like, God.
Oh my God.
Why? He's like, I don't know, because they're mean to me. And I'm like, but you don't do that, So he had like behavioral issues, and we just didn't know where he was getting them from, because at first it was just like my oldest and then him. So the baby was still a baby. So we're like, where is he learning this from? He wasn't watching YouTube that, But he was just acting out. And I was thinking, like, I guess because he's so smart, like, I'm like, he's ready. He's ready. But he was not ready.
Maybe to be around like kids his age.
I think COVID had a lot to do with it too, because like they shut down like a lot of places,
Oh yeah, they did, yeah.
So he was not really like around kids. So I think whenever he saw other kids, he was like, wow, there's more of us. Like, you know what I mean? And I kind of felt like that was kind of like my fault too, because he only has like one other cousin. And since the distance where we're at, it's not like hey, let's drive there every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what like kind of what made that. But now in kinder, like after he started kinder this year, I was just like waiting for the teacher to tell me something. She's like, oh, no, he's doing pretty good. And he's like, he's really smart. He does have his little moments, but like he's not hitting or he's not doing nothing like that. And I'm like, okay, thank God. I was like, kind of wanted, she's like, honestly, to be honest, not for nothing, but the teacher that he had was like his first year teaching. And she's like, I've been here for 12 years, same grade. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but does that mean it's okay? So I guess she kind of knew how to handle him.
Yeah, I think it's like whenever it's like a first year, like you do find like a lot of stuff that might be like normal, But since it's your first year, you think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I feel like I've seen it because I work at a school too, so like I'll sub. And like when my first year, I did do kinder. I mean, like I was with the teachers in kinder, and I would see a lot of the kids, and I'd be like, oh my God, this one's bad, that one's bad, like this one's
they're
good,
all bad.
Yeah. But I feel like I have a lot of patience too, so it's just,
Yeah,
but
she was really good with him.
Yeah, because I feel like it really does depend on the teacher too, because she could be like firm, but like make it a fun environment.
Yeah, but
I feel like.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I had to withdraw him too, because even before Dad went, like whenever I went to go check on him, one of the teachers had grabbed his arm, and like she grabbed his arm and pulled the crayon out of his hand, and I looked at the principal and I was like, "Girl, if you don't go get her, I'm gonna go get her." Like you don't grab my child like that. Like,
oh no, yeah,
it's not okay.
Yeah, I would have probably like taken him.
And I was like, how do you expect for him to act?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say too. You know what? I mean, this is gonna sound really ugly, but I also do think if the teacher doesn't automatically find a connection with the kid, then they automatically see anything that kid does wrong. You know, because last year, like Milo, his teachers liked him. He had 2 teachers, and he was 3, but he would only go for like 3.5 hours. So it's like half a day. You know, because it was pre-K for like 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And since he's an only child, I wanted him to be around other kids so that he was prepared for pre-K 4, which is regular pre-K, right?
Yeah.
And so that happened. And then, but his teacher would tell me like, oh, he doesn't count. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, remember?
Yeah, because we were like, well, he counts at the house. So I don't understand. Like,
because before he even went to school, like, he would count 1 through 10 in Spanish and English, you know? And then she's telling me, like, he doesn't know his numbers in English. And I'm like, what the fuck are you saying, you know?
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, he doesn't know his colors. And I'm like, what?
And she was like, he's going backwards or some shit like that. And we're like, man, there's no way.
And
like,
so we were on the phone, and I'm just like, right, I was so pissed off. And I'm like, but I am one to be like, nobody's going to speak up for our kids if we don't do it. Because they are not going to speak up for themselves, you know? Mm-hmm. So then she's like, he doesn't know the numbers. And I'm like, well, how are you testing him? Because he knows his colors. He knows his numbers, you know? And then she's like, well, and then she told me, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll practice with him the way you're testing him because he knows his stuff, you know? Yeah. And she fucking put that he was going backward, like, on his little report thingy. Yeah. So then I talked to the second teacher, and she's like, no, girl, he is doing fine. But I knew that the second teacher had, like, a lot of love for Milo. Yeah. So she would look out for him a lot, you know? Yeah. But the main teacher, I knew she was more firm. But I was just like, bitch. Now I see her at the school, and I don't even say hi to her.
I think, it's how they are, like, depending on how the teacher is. So that's kind of like why I withdrew him too. I'm like, you know what? Like, they're already looking at him like he's like the bad kid, you know? Yeah, and if they do that, then the kid doesn't have a chance, you know? Like, but he was past like all the kids. He was like the top one because he already knew everything, and I think that's what it was, that he was bored. He's like, we're learning that.
He was bored, like, so let me act out.
Yeah, he was like, I already know this. I already know the triangle. You know, I already know the numbers. And then right now that he's in Cali, he's only like half a day. And he's loving it because, like, all they do is color. Like, I feel like that's what they do. And I'm like, he brings me all these, you know, he brings me all these papers. And I'm like, what did you learn today? He's like, the letter S. I was like, but you already know the letter S. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I know, but my teacher wanted to teach me that one today. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, how do they have kinder over here for half a day? She's like, yeah, it's like that.
Kinder?
Half a day.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I know here it's like a full day for kinder.
Even pre-K. Pre-K is a full day now.
Yeah, right? Because I know pre-K 3 is... half days, can be half days, because I know there's schools that do 4 days for pre-K 3, but I know pre-K, regular pre-K and kinder are 4 days. Yeah, because I thought like kinder was mandatory.
Well, that's what I thought too, but I guess not in California or where we're at. But it's not like that until first grade, and then maybe the school that we're at, because I think first grade they get off like at 1 something, and I'm like, what?
In first grade?
There's schedules over there.
But they go in regular time? Like,
I think 7.
7?
I mean, which is not that far off.
No, yeah. It's still early. Like, it's still an early time to get out. Even though they go in if they go in at 7 or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I know for sure whenever we come back over here, it's going to be a little bit hectic because their schedules are just different right now. You know?
Yeah, they go to school here like if they work in 8 to 5, you know? Like, I mean, a regular job.
Like a job.
Yeah, they're like in there like 8-9 hours.
But it's consistent. It's consistency. I feel like their academics are much better. Like,
here?
Yeah.
Oh, then over there?
Like over here, his teacher was trying to teach him how to read and everything.
Yeah.
And over there, I'm like, so what's new? He's like, just colors.
Yeah, because by kinder, I know that they're supposed to know how to write their name. You know, and I know that. Before Milo started school, I remember I would practice his name a lot, right? Yeah. Because I wanted him to know how to write his name. It's super short. It's literally 4 letters, right? Yeah. But they did help him a lot in school too, and he was only 3.
That's cute. I like his name.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you guys find it?
Pinterest.
No, well, you kind of planned it though. Like,
no, but I saw it in Pinterest, you know, and I'm like, but it automatically to me it connected to my grandma's name. Okay. But I saw it off Pinterest. You know, I didn't think of my grandma and came up with Milo until I saw the name, and I'm like, oh shit, like Milo, and then my grandma, her name was Milagro, so then they used to call her Mila, you know. Yeah. So I was just like, oh yes, it's perfect, and then but I didn't tell him because I knew he wasn't gonna be like.
Yeah. No, because I saw it in a song. Like, it was the name of a song too.
Which one?
It's called Milo. The song. His homeboy song. We're gonna have him on the podcast soon. I'll let him know too. But I remember just seeing the way it was spelled and everything. I was like, man, it looks pretty cool.
But you know how he convinced himself to get the name Milo? Because he's like, you pretended like if Milo was gonna be in high school, and then you're like, hey, what's up, Milo, or something like that.
Yeah. I was like, all right, how would it sound? Like, let's say like he's chilling and somebody's like, oh, what's up? Oh, that's Milo right there. What's up, Milo? Like, and I'm like, all right,
he was literally doing that in the living room, and I'm just like, yeah.
Like, it's cool, it sounds cool, you know. So we're like, let's do it.
But I just have a thing for like short names.
Okay.
Yeah, like I just love short names in general.
Like
he doesn't
simple.
even have like a middle name or anything. It's just Milo, you know. People are always like, but you know, they've called him Milo before. And when he got into the school, we don't call him that, you know.
Yeah.
It's always just Milo. And when he started school, I would tell them like, oh yeah, just call him Milo, because he doesn't go by Milo, you know.
Yeah.
So then they called him Milo, but he tells you, he's like, I'm not Milo, I'm Milo. Like, he'll do that, right?
That's
like,
cute. Yeah.
But yeah, everybody knows him by like Milo, like, you know.
Oh, I thought it was short for something at first. I was like, maybe it's short for something. But
Yeah,
no,
and then they'll
that's
ask
cool.
that too. They're like, oh, is it Emiliano or Maximiliano? And we're like, no, it's just Milo. And they're like, oh, okay. Like,
The family at first like, Milo? Like, nomás así, Milo? Like, they're like, yeah, it's just Milo.
and now it's just like, everybody's like,
They like it.
yeah, it's like, oh, it's Milo, like, you know. But do you want to go on a quick break?
Yeah, then we'll be right back.
Okay, so tell us, how did the magazine competition, or how did you even get in that?
So, a friend of mine tagged me on Facebook, right? And she's like, dude, you should enter this, right? And I'm like, I don't know, I guess. So I entered, and that was the time that my daughter was in the hospital. So I was just kind of like, oh, I'm not going to do that, you know? So then it started, I think 2 weeks after that. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm really in it. So then they send me like the place that I was in, right? So then you start telling them like, hey, everybody, I joined, you know, Ink magazine. And everybody was like, oh my God, that's so cool, you know? So I was getting a lot of support from like everybody.
Yeah, I voted for you. Whenever you have to go to like the website.
It's like
and,
a daily voting though. It was just kind of like, oh, you know? So I had to like remind everybody to vote every single day. And then it was pretty interesting. I was going on, so I had friends that were like investigating who was running, and they're like, let me see, you know? So at first I thought it was just like the people that I was in the group with. Turns out like you're in a big old competition with like groups of 10 girls in each. I don't know how many groups there were. And then they start like picking like, okay, the first 10 of the group, and then the first 5 of the group, and then now you're in first. So now you're running against the other first from the 10 in the group, you know?
Yeah.
So we made it towards kind of like the end, you know? And the last one, it was like some people, so I was getting so many votes, and like every time like my votes would go up, because you can pay for votes, right? So the girl that I was going up against was like buying votes every time I would catch up. And I'm like, that's not fair.
Yeah,
you know?
that's not fair.
How can you buy the votes though?
Yeah, like you just go on there, and then you press like you want to donate 10 something, but those votes go towards me, you know? So it was just like if you donated, because it was just random how it was just like a certain amount that she was up by, you know what I mean? And I was like, they're like, what the heck? Like, there's no way, you know? So at the time we had like a little group of friends, like my friends that were helping me. They were like helping me with like at work. They're like, hey, go vote for my friend, you know, or like just little things. And my votes were like coming in, like I would see them like nonstop, because I can see who votes for me. So it was like I could see them coming in, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, you know?
Yeah.
But I also wasn't like really like, you know, let's tell people that they can buy votes and stuff like that. And then we had this day only where like if you would buy a vote, they would double. So like let's say you bought 10 votes, I would get 20. So those days were like kind of helpful, you know, but I don't know, like I made it through. It was pretty fun. I thought it was fun, but I just thought it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think it's fair when people like just vote for you for real.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ink has to make their money regardless. You know what I mean? So on top of that, I think there was like a price.
Oh, I was gonna say, what was the price?
I think it was 25. I think 25,000. 25,000, and then you got to be on the ink cover of magazine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that why you had your photo shoot? Because you had like a photo shoot.
I had a photo shoot, but it was at my artist, his studio. So like I told him like, hey, you know, I was actually going in for some sessions because I got a session on my leg. And I was like, I joined the Ink magazine. And he kind of like ran it down to me. He's like, oh man, you know, he's like, it's a lot of money stuff. And I was like, really? And I didn't think about it at first, you know, but then I knew what he was talking about. You know what I mean? With the buying votes and all that stuff. And he's like, good luck. I was like, you know, because I've been going with him for 12 years now, I think, tattooing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you wouldn't mind if I do a shoot here? He's like, no, man, go for it. You know, like he's super cool.
So what's his name?
Omar Hernandez at Los Muertos. It's like right off of I-10, going towards I would say like downtown Houston, like right in the edge.
Yeah.
By the police station or something like that. Yeah. So he's been there for years. Yeah.
That's dope. Well, shout out Omar.
Yeah. So he was very supportive, and his wife too. I've been knowing his wife for the same amount of time. She's really cool.
And she does tattoos too?
No, she doesn't. She's actually, I think, like either a lawyer or paralegal or something like that. But she's like all sleeved out. Like she has all these cool work. Like,
how many tattoos do you have? Like, do you know a number or no?
I don't really count them like that. I feel like I count them like 1, 2.
She's like a whole sleeve, like 1.
Just 1.
Yeah, I have. So my first tattoo, it was like a little robot. It's like tiny, like you know.
She said it's tiny. It's not that.
So this was my first like tattoo, and like the artist was like tattooing me, and I was like, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm
super
nervous."
Cold. Oh.
I'm cold.
No, I was nervous, you know. And my sister's like, "Dude, chill out." And I was, cause she already had one tattoo, right? She's like, it's not that bad. And I'm like, it doesn't hurt. I'm just like, my body's nervous or something. And she's like, oh my God. So then after that, so with Inked, actually, I was inspired by ink before, like it was a big thing. I had seen a magazine because my mom would go get her nails done at this place. And the lady had the magazines, but back then you had magazines that you don't have your phone.
Yeah.
So like I would look through the magazine and I was like, dang, I want to look like that girl one day, you know? And my mom's like, no. She's Mexican, right? She's like, no te vas a tatuar nada. She's like, whenever you're home, whenever you're like out of the house, you can do whatever you want. Tatuate las nalgas si quieres. I was like, okay. So like, that was like what inspired me for real, like the Ink magazine. And then I started my sleeve, and my mom was like, te has de ver bien bonita así. And I was like, yeah, I think so. And she was like, oh my God. So then when I went through my sleeve, she was like, oh my God, are you going through something? Like, do I have to take it? I'm like, no, Mom, I like this. And she's like, okay. And then whenever she got used to it, she's like, hey, that's really nice. Like the colors and everything, it just looks so pretty. And I was like, you see, I'm the only one that's like sleeved out of my family.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah. I think my brother just recently got sleeved out, but I was the first one. So my mom was kind of like, are you going through a crisis? Like, do I have to take you to therapy? And I was like, no, Mom, I'm fine. I just like it. So like now she sees me and she's like, you got something new, didn't you? I'm like, no. She's like, you didn't have that. And I'm like, Mom, I've been having this for like 5 years now. And she's like, oh, okay. Just making sure.
Did any of them, like, I want to get like a sleeve, but do you follow Katie Hearn? Do you know who she is?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, I love her sleeve, like, you know, and I feel like, but I'm just like too scared. Like, I feel like, because I have 3 tattoos, but mine are actually small. Like, it's this one, and then I have one right here, and then I have one like right here. And this is the one that I wanted it to make transition right into like a sleeve, but I feel like I'm too much of a chicken shit, like, because he said that when he got, which one, where did it hurt a lot?
The elbow.
Yeah.
The elbow, and then acá arriba, kind of a little bit for me. But
so yeah, so I'm just like, fuck, I don't know if I would be down to like go through the pain.
There are some parts that do hurt more than others, but I don't know if it's happened to you or not. But like whenever I've been getting tattooed, like there's a time where I don't feel it anymore because of the pain. Yeah. So he's just tattooing. The only thing I hate is when we take breaks. because it's like now he's going over it, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, can we not do no breaks? And he's kind of like, I can try, you know, but it's just whenever he takes like the break, it's like, oh no, I can't do it no more.
The last session that I had, he was like, which was with Beto, so shout out Beto. He was like, hey bro, you hungry? We're about to get some food, you know. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. He's like, come on, I got you. I'm like, all right. And then so we were just sitting there, and my arm todo ardiendo and shit. Like, it's just like, you can feel it's just hot, you know. And I'm just like, damn, I'm just eating. It's good, you know. Pero then we start again, and I'm just like dreading it, because he's about to just go over everything. Yeah, shit sucks.
That's the part that I don't like.
So what's been like the longest session?
I think all of them have been long, honestly, because so he does it through parts, and they've all been like 6 hours. So he'll start one part, and then he'll like kind of go through that part, and then the other part, but I've never done like 2-hour sessions or anything like that. So we're there for a while, and I'm like, oh, like sometimes I'm like, do I really want this? I'm like, do I want to finish it? And I'm like, yeah, I want to finish it. You know what I mean?
So you never just go for like, oh, let me add like something small.
The only thing I did, it was just like this little hand tattoo that I did.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that little. But the hand tattoo that I did, because I believe we had, my husband had a session and he just didn't know what to get. And he's like, why don't we just do something like that? And I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. So he did one and I did one. And I was like, it was that way it could even out for the session for Omar and stuff like that. That way he's not like losing the day. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they like book their sessions like through.
Yeah, like time slots or whatever.
Yeah, because I did mine when he got like his tattoo. I think it was which one? You had already had these. Oh, it was for the.
It was this, yeah, abajo.
Yeah, so then I was just there with him, and I was just like, fuck it, like, I guess let me. Yeah. They basically like talked me into doing like this. I wanted this tattoo, right? But then,
like an outline. And then they talked her into like shading it in. And everything.
Yeah, so we just got to like, and then we added Milo's name and everything. So it just became like a completely different tattoo. At first, I'm not going to lie, I told Roland that when I first got it, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I look ghetto, like with my tattoo. And he's like, you don't. And I'm like, but I feel like
it's just the way you present yourself, you know?
It's true.
Yeah.
But then I feel like now it's just like, it's just a part of me, you know, and it's just there. And now I want like a sleeve, but I feel like I'm scared.
Yeah. So. Shoot, I'll be walking around sometimes and like, I've been sleeved out for a while. So I'll be walking in there like, man, your tattoo's badass. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. You know what I mean? Because I forget.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I feel like your tattoos, like I feel like they just go with you. Because like I guess like one like your Instagram, like your fits, you know, and they'll just like go with your tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like if you didn't have tattoos, you'd look like a little girl.
Maybe.
I know what I mean.
I think I give that vibe. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I never grew up. You know what I mean? But
or like younger.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like the tattoos maybe give you that like, oh, I'm a badass, like, you know, mature look, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Whenever like I do it, like I totally forget. And then it's more like, oh, is that this? Is that this? And then they start like noticing it. But I seen myself with like when I was in high school, and I'm like, ew, my arms look weird.
Because they don't have no
tattoos, you know? So like, imagine like now how I would feel if I didn't have them. I think I would just, it's like part of me now. You know what I mean? So.
Dang.
Yeah, because I remember when I first got mine, and then I would like reach for something, and they're like, oh, he's showing off his tattoos. And I'm like, man, I'm just like acting normal, you know? Pero yeah, and then it's always like weird having that first one because it's just in an awkward spot. Well, I got mine in an awkward spot. It was like 2 roses right here. Yeah, it was kind of going over here a little bit, and it was just sitting there for a while. And I'm just like, damn, this is kind of like weird, you know. But at first it was cool.
Yeah,
you know, I was excited for it. And yeah, when you start adding more to it, yeah. Ahorita I feel good.
Yeah, because he has like the sleeve, right?
Yeah, but I am missing, like he just so right here I had like just this open spot right here, and I was like, man, because we wanted to transition onto the hand. Yeah, but I'm like, it bothered me for a long time, right? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna just add our date on here. So like, I just added the date. Yeah, I feel a little better.
Yeah. So I remember one time I went to court because they gave me a ticket, and the lady had looked at me and she's like, this was when I was doing the meal preps, right? And she's like, girl, look at your arms, you know? She was like, what do you do for work or whatever, you know? I was like, oh, I own a business, you know, I do meal prep. She's like, girl, do whatever you want to your body. I was like, okay. You know, because like I was like, am I being judged right now?
I was gonna ask you,
You
do
know?
you feel like you ever do get judged?
I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do, but I don't really like really care, you know?
Yeah.
I've always been like that, kind of like they're gonna judge me. I think a person's gonna judge you regardless, you know?
Yeah.
So you can take it as a positive way or you can take it as a negative way.
And what about your social media, like on there? Because you have like a good amount of followers, so it's like, do you get hate on that or no?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Like sometimes they're like photoshopping or like my body, photoshopping my body, and I'm like, that
Like
would be
on
so
comments?
weird. Yeah, because I'm like, that would be so weird because I post videos. Like, how can I Photoshop my body? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying that you Photoshop.
Yeah,
your body.
Because
that I would
we
do.
have a friend, like, her name's Jessica Lynn, and I see that some people tell her that shit. So she'll post, like, a video and be like, I'm photoshopping shit, like, you know? And I'm just like, damn, like it's, I didn't think,
That's
maybe
crazy.
because I hadn't seen, like, through your, maybe it's because whenever you see, like, a post, like, not the hate ones come up.
They'll be, yeah, but once you start scrolling, yeah, salen todos.
Yeah. So I was just, but like stuff like that. But I mean, it's never really like towards me. I think it's more just of your body. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, at the end of the day, like you can either let social media tell you who you are or you be who you are. You know what I mean? And that's always been a difference that I felt like. Social media is not my life. That's not my real life. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like my family is my life.
Yeah.
My kids are my life.
Do you feel like you keep your life a little bit private?
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes whenever you're like happy and you're like enjoying stuff, like people don't want that for you sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you keep that to yourself, it's special.
No,
You
yeah,
know
I
what I
know what you mean.
So especially with my kids, like they're, I don't know, like I feel like if I post them sometimes they get sick and I'm like, you guys give my kids a horse or something. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I try to just keep that stuff, you know,
off like your social media, because your social media is more like revolving fitness, right? And then you started doing like the raffles too, right?
Yes, so I started doing the raffles for like the Cuban chains because everybody would always be like, where'd you get your chains at, you know? So I would have to fly out to Miami, pick out the Cubans that I wanted, and then I would raffle them out. And then it can be good and it could be just, you know, a struggle sometimes, depending on how it is. But gold too, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. So you have to make sure that you're not losing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Are they what, like 10 or 14 or 18?
yeah, so some are 10 and some are 14.
Oh, okay.
So most of the people like 10 or 14, but the 18 are more expensive. So
No, yeah, they are.
I was gonna say that if gold goes up and down, like do the prices when you go get them, like do they go up and down too, or it's just like a
no, so the lady that I go to, she locks me in at a price. So
Okay.
like let's say if I order her a Cuban today, she locks me in at that price. But I have to send her like obviously the money for it, you know. But if I go and the gold has gone up at the time that I'm going to purchase, she has to sell me the gold at what it is. You know what I mean? So I can get deals, but I have to make sure when the gold is good. The good thing about gold though is you can put it away, and then if one day you need it, it's there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
as your
mean, it's
backup.
going to have like value regardless,
Yes.
right? Oh, dang. So, I mean, roughly like, what's the most you spent like on a Cuban?
On one or two or
Or, I mean, on one?
okay, so on one, probably 8,000, about 8,000.
8,000?
Yeah. And
On
then-
one?
Just on one.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
But you whenever you go, like you get more than just one.
Yeah.
Or what?
I get two.
So oh, two.
She's
I'll
like,
get
I'll get two.
I'll get like so the first raffle that we did was a 224s. So the
Okay.
lengths were longer. They were not like so this one I decided to do one for the girls because they were always like, oh, I like your chain, you know? So I figured like more girls would join it, but I think it was more guys for their girls, you know? So That's how that one went. The first one was easier because all the guys are like, okay, cool. Like they're longer chains, you know. They like so the style of the actual chain, it's so different from the Houston ones that everybody's like, they like the style of it. So when they're longer for the men, they're like, oh, I want that chain, you know. And instead of paying like $6,000 or $7,000 for it, you know, they get a chance to win it for like $50.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And do you make a good profit? Or is it like slight? Because I see girls like that do like raffles, you know, like on Facebook and stuff. And whenever I add the numbers and I see how much, because sometimes they'll be like, you can take the cash or you can take the price or whatever. Like sometimes it's literally like not that much.
So if you take the cash price, I think it's better if you take the gold because they're worth more. You know what I mean? So I think that's when you make more money versus them taking the gold. Because the gold is good amount of money. Yeah. So there's some people that are like, oh, I don't want the gold. I'm like, you should probably take the gold and sell it, you know? Yeah. But
do people just be like, hey, like, let me just buy the chain. I don't want to join the raffle. And do you sell it?
No. Because I already have it in the raffle. I will sell it if the people don't pick it. So the last winner, he wanted the necklaces. And if he didn't want the necklaces, I would have sold them.
You would have reached out to somebody that
had asked me for it. Yeah,
because you've been doing them for like a while already, right?
I think this is the second time I do them, but I don't know if I'm gonna do them again because that was stressful. Like trying to do all the numbers, count everybody, you know, making sure that everything is fine. Yeah.
Dang. And why do you put waffle?
Because you get censored. So if I get blocked off of Instagram, I can't use it to promote them.
I told you.
Yeah. The same thing.
She did tell me because I was like.
The same thing with Facebook. Yeah.
Because I was like, why is she putting waffle?
They'll put like literally like the waffles emoji. Yeah. You know.
So there's different things they'll flag you for on Instagram. Like there's certain whenever you make a post like that. So raffle, I think money signs all together. They see it, you get blocked. So that's like a whole week of being blocked, and I'm like. You know? Yeah.
Or like gambling and shit.
What happens if you can't close one?
Well, it hasn't happened, but
that's good.
Yeah, so it hasn't happened. That's why I was doing like the minis, and the minis kind of helped me close the bigger one, you know. But there's been people that have done raffles and they just close them. They'll just do the numbers that I guess didn't sell or whatever, and then they'll go from there. I think so. They'll skip that number. Like I saw a girl was doing like a Kate Spade purse or something like that, and she wasn't able to close it, so that's what she did. She did it with the people that were in it, and I don't know if they took a loss on it or not, but
yeah, that would suck because you don't want to keep it open too long either, right?
Well, I knew that the necklaces will be a little bit longer.
Well, yeah, I mean
because it's price. Yeah, you know, the price for them.
Yeah, because it's not like, oh, let me just pay $10. No, it's like it's normally like what, like 50.
Yeah, it's like 55 or 50. I think the least we've done is like 65, but we'll do like less numbers, you know?
You have to make sure that it's like
a good balance.
Yeah, like a good balance.
Yeah. Dang. To me, I was looking at more like, let me just like, if I can pay off the necklaces, like, I'll just get my money back that I already paid for the necklaces, then I'm fine. You know what I mean? I don't come out losing or nothing.
Yeah.
So, but what's the whole reason of doing them in the first place? It's just like to... make some money, or
to make some money. I figure like since I'm in Cali and like, you know, I'm doing mom life right now, try to make some money like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you're a hustler, you know.
You'll find a way.
You're gonna find a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it just gave me time to do it. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, cool. Having that it's not gonna throw you off too much from mom life.
Yeah. No.
Opposed to coaching, you know.
Yeah.
So, damn. So where can they find you, like on Instagram?
They can find me on Instagram as In Shape by Kat.
Do you have like any other social medias, or is it just that one?
So I have Facebook, but like that's like more family.
Oh shit.
More family stuff, you know.
Yeah, so it's more like on Instagram.
I'm just on Instagram right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're glad, you know, that you came over. I know you were like in Cali and we were trying to figure out the dates.
Yeah, so it's like a small window to have you on here.
I know, which I'm glad that you reached out, because you said right when you sent a message that you were coming back, so I was like, oh my god. And I told him like, let me book her, right? Like
I didn't know exactly when I was flying, so we had made plans to go to come back in October, but man, to fly to Cali, it's expensive. Like, I don't know. I've looked at flights before months and months, and it's still like, so for all of us to travel, because I got to travel with my babies, it's like $2,000 or something like that.
Oh my God. Yeah, it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make it and, you know,
I'm
get
so
to know you.
I got to, you know,
Like,
meet you guys and stuff. Like, I seen the podcast before, and I'm like, that's so cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I always thought
appreciate
that
it.
it was really cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you came because I wanted to have somebody that is like relatable, like mom life, you know, an entrepreneur, you know, a
Yeah.
hustler.
Which we pretty much had like off camera conversations that
yeah.
like deal with like
yeah.
more of that, right?
I know.
But
I'm not going to get over how our first conversation was like super intense. Like,
Yeah.
But real quick, I wanted to talk about well, just say that our Instagram following right now is what? What do you have it at?
5,000.
5634, and YouTube subs we're at 634. So if y'all could please just subscribe, help us get to that 1,000 by the end of the year. I want to get to 1,000 still subs. So 1,000 subs at the end of the year is the goal. And again, appreciate you coming, and you know,
Thanks for having
We'll
me.
put your information in the description below so they'll be able to find you. And
Yes,
hopefully you
sir.
get some followers, you know, when you get back. Hopefully you can get some clients for the coaching.
Yeah. I want to get back into that when I
Yeah.
get back.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Well, all
But
right,
that's
guys.
it.
Thank y'all for watching.
Peace.